Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? You're now tuned into another episode of the Podcast with Tigmatic, and it's your boy. Hey, listen, we moving and booming. Episode 96, 4 more to a bean. Philly stand up, L-Town stand up. Thank you for everybody that's been watching. And listen, my guest is here. And you know, y'all already know how we do. So enjoy the vibes, folks. We'll be right back at you.
We coming in from the door, man, on folks them. Y'all already know, cuz. Yeah. I rock all this white like I'm godly. Sushi gon' come with wasabi. Fresh off the steps of the porch. I walk out, get in a Porsche. Know that I'm using the force. Know that I mastered the course. Known as the plug and the source. Haters, they feeling remorse. This for my dogs in court. That's facing the judge and the jury. My brother, he made it in sports. And that's why he rock all that jewelry. She can remember me now. Know that my vision is blurry. I got these racks on me now. Know that the money done carry me. Know that I'm lit in my city. Know that I'm hot. Know that we poppin', man. Everybody chasing that cloud. Running they mouth. Know I really feed the game. Yeah. Hold up. We on the beaches and right off the coast. Down here in Florida, we doing the most. The hustle on South Beach is like a LeBron. You call it a pound and we call it a bomb. We at the lick and I'm working with chicken. Shout out my nigga from Memphis, they chicken. For my dog and themselves, know I know that they listening. Yeah, I'm on a new level just like I'm Hendrix. Straight from the gutter, we come from the trenches. We ball on these niggas, they sit on the bench. They using the style and I swear I ain't lending. We pushing the P and the P is for profit. They watching and listening, look how they copy. They hate and respect it, but gotta acknowledge me. Know that a nigga be doing a lot. Know that I'm lit in my city. Know that I'm hot. Know that we poppin', man. Everybody chasing that cloud, running they mouth. Know I really feed the game.
Hey, listen, folks. My guest is here. And listen, he is an artist, well respected out here. He definitely has some great talent. And the art pops at your face, man. So without further ado, I want to bring you Jordan Spector. What's poppin', my guy?
What up?
What up? What's up, man? Welcome to the pot.
Well, happy to be here, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man. So listen, I like to give all my guests their own introduction through their mouths. So why don't you introduce yourself to the folks, tell them who you are and what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, my two passions were football and art, and I somehow figured out a way to combine those passions into a full-time career, and that's what I do full-time. I create art. I've become a narrator and a storyteller through my art, and that's really how I define my creativity as a storyteller. So that's what I enjoy doing the most, is telling the story of an athlete or a moment through my art.
Hey, man, that's dope. So tell the people how you got started in art.
My talent for art is definitely a God-given ability. My father is super talented as well, so he kind of taught me everything I learned growing up. But really, ever since I was 5 years old and could pick up a pencil and doodle, I've been creating art. And for the longest time, I did it for fun and never really knew the difference between my work and another kid's work. And it wasn't until I really tapped into it after getting hurt playing football that I realized I was onto something.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've done paintings for all sorts of athletes. Why don't you tell the people a bit about some of the athletes you work with?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, if you see behind me, let me see that direction. Can't really see it. Hold on. Let me move. But this one hanging on the wall actually is a smaller print of one I did for Devontae Smith earlier this season. If you go on my Instagram, you can see a post of me and him that collabed on the post of him with a 4x5 foot version of that piece. That was one of my most recent pieces for an actual athlete. The one hanging up top there is one of my most prized possessions and creations. That, again, is just a print, but that is a replica of a 15-foot painting I completed back in 2021 that has 40 different players and coaches in it that basically tells the full history of the Philadelphia Eagles from the 1940s up until the Super Bowl win in 2018. And that is one of my most prized creations, just because of how long it took and how much effort it took. And so doing a lot now, working with a lot of athletes. We do trading cards now as well. So a lot going on.
Oh, man. So you said you're doing trading cards as well.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I posted the picture that you sent me of AI, the one of AI that you drew. And you had the opportunity to meet him. What was that like?
It was cool, man. We had basically 3 back-to-back sessions of the project that I did with him. So this is actually my 6th trading card release under my brand Immortals trading cards. So I collaborated with Allen Iverson, and that led to me doing an entire launch event with him. Actually, the first one that we've done like this, where people could pay to come to this private mansion where we launched off this trading card project. Iverson was there with his whole crew. So it was a lot of fun. And the night before that, I was with him getting cards autographed as part of the project. And it was just surreal, surreal to just be around him and hear him talk about life in general and the game of basketball and just what he thinks of the art that I created and the memories that brings back. It's pretty surreal to hang with a guy like that and just listen to him talk about it.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's talk about life a bit. Tell the people what growing up for you was like.
Growing up for me, I feel like I'm blessed. I come from a 2-parent household. Really had a really great upbringing. 2 loving parents. My dad's super talented, like I mentioned before, and they really molded me into the man I am today and the type of person I am, whether I'm creating art or not. So I really come from a great background in that sense. And but the whole sports thing was actually all me. My dad is not much of a sports guy, and neither is my mom. She's not really big into sports either. So I kind of just created my own fanhood especially for the game of football through my cousin who played football and also Brian Dawkins. Those 2 individuals, for whatever reason, growing up.
B-Dawk was that guy.
What's that?
B-Dawk was that guy.
He was that guy, man. And just growing up, those 2 inspired me to want to play the game of football. And I ended up going that route in my athletic career and played football. And that's what inspires a lot of the artwork that I do today.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So you said you got inspired by B-Dawk. Brian Dawkins, for those that don't know, is a former Philadelphia Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Played damn near his whole career there. His whole career. So let me ask you this. You played some college football, right?
I did, yes. I was so I played all my years in high school, and I wasn't heavily recruited. I was recruited by smaller schools, but I decided to go to Temple University down in Philly, and I stopped playing football my first year. I didn't think I was going to play again, and I just missed the game so much. And I actually discovered that at that time, this is 2012, that they were hosting walk-on tryouts for any student athlete or just any student in general. You could come to a tryout and you could showcase your skills and hopefully get picked up by the team. And sure enough, I when I found out about this, I trained for 7-8 months to get in the best shape of my life. And I truly was in the best shape of my life. And you show up at a tryout, you run a 40-yard dash, you do agility drills, you catch the ball, show the coaches what you can do. And I ended up making the team. And I played 2 years at Temple and had an incredible time or experience with that period of my life, because that led to me making a lot of great connections with guys who still play in the NFL to this day, like Hassan Reddick, plays for the Jets, played for the Eagles last year, Robbie Anderson, Deion Dawkins, starting left tackle for the Bills, many guys that made it to the NFL. And but when I got hurt playing football again in college, that's actually what led me back to doing the art. And I did work for guys that I played with.
Oh, that's cool. So what was your position in football?
Running back.
Oh, yeah. So you was one of them ones. You was one of them guys, huh?
You could say that. I wasn't as maybe agile as some guys, but I kind of just had that north and south speed. I thought I was pretty fast at the time, but it's hard to maintain that speed in and out of your cuts. But I at least had enough juice in me to make it on a program like that. So, yeah.
So what did you run? Did you know?
What's that?
How fast were you? How fast could you run?
I mean, really the only official 40 time I had was for the tryout, and they told me I ran hand time of 4.4, probably more like a 4.5 if it was at like a combine. Yeah. So yeah, but I was, like I said, I was training very, very heavily for 7-8 months, and I was benching like 330, running like a 4.4, 4.5 probably, and was really good at a lot of the agility skills as well. And just put myself in a good position to make it.
Oh man, so that's awesome as well. So what was the injury you acquired?
It really wasn't anything body-wise. It was concussions that really scared me out of the game and led to me walking away. Never had any serious body injury, which is great. So if it wasn't for concussions, I probably would have kept trying to play. But I had quite a few in high school, and I got another one at Temple. And those type of things, like a lot of players aren't going to be honest with the doctor about, hey, I've had this many concussions that I can at least account for. But I was honest with the doctor, and he said, hey, like, it doesn't hurt to walk away from the game, especially if you want to ensure that you are saving your brain health.
Absolutely.
And, after I spent like 2 weeks trying to think through what I wanted to do, and eventually I did walk away from the game. And I'm glad I made that decision, because, who knows, if I kept playing, could have sustained another head injury, and then I could end up having brain damage. Who knows, and I think as more research comes out in that subject matter, people are going to find that. I think what will be discovered is that certain individuals have a different genetic makeup that allows them to be less susceptible to something like a concussion. I think some people are just more prone to it, or maybe when you get your first, you become more prone to it. But, it's definitely a big issue in the game of football and part of the game.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So how do you manage the pressure to consistently deliver high-quality art while maintaining your well-being, though?
Yeah, it's not always easy, man. It's a lot of work, a lot of brainstorming, and a lot of research that goes into the work that I create. But I enjoy the end result, and I enjoy being able to wow people with something that they can relate to and that they can get hyped up about. Because for me, if I can get excited about it, I feel like the person I'm showing it to can get excited about it as well. So that's always the goal, is to exceed people's expectations. So I almost treat my art releases like an album drop, and I've heard people say that before too. I try to really hype it up and get people amped up, and then deliver whatever it is that I'm working on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's dope. So, were there like any moments like when your creative process felt like overwhelming? Talk to us about that a bit.
yeah, I mean, you always hear for writers or artists or creatives in general, like you get that writer's block, quote unquote, and sometimes,
Absolutely, I go through it a lot.
yeah, and I definitely experience that sometimes, but I found ways to help cope with that. It is the best when I'm able to just like jump right into a project, and that first night the light bulb goes off, and I'm just running with it. But it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it can take me a whole week to figure out exactly what I want to do, what direction I want to go. So it depends, but things that really help me tap into my creativity are really sitting down, especially late at night. I'm most creative late at night. I'm a night owl, and putting some music on and just watching highlights or looking at pictures of a moment or moments that are going to help determine the right direction of what I want to create. So it's kind of how I go about it, and I try to nowadays put myself in the shoes of the one athlete or the moment that I'm recreating, and try to really tap into that energy in the moment.
So, who would you say was your favorite athlete you drew so far?
That's tough, man. I get that question a lot, or which is my favorite piece a lot.
Yeah.
I have so many because every piece I've done, for the most part, has a pretty unique story behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said earlier, the one hanging behind me is pretty special to me, just because of how much time it took and how much energy it took. It took 2 years to make that project, and so that one is very near and dear to my heart. But I'd say this past year, one of my favorites is the Saquon backwards hurdle, especially because the idea came to me so quickly, and I was able to do it in like 5-6 days, and it's been a really big hit. And he's been having such an incredible season, and maybe in a week from now he will become the NFL rushing single season leader all time. So
That's right.
we shall see.
He's been balling.
He's balling, man.
He's balling for real. Shout out to my Eagles. Well, our Eagles, should I say?
Come on now.
That's
right.
So you from Philly?
I am, yeah. I didn't grow up in Philly. I'm from Willow Grove. But like I said, I went to Temple, and then I lived in like Fishtown area for like 5 years or so. Now I live up in like the Feasterville area, Bensalem, Feasterville area.
Okay. I used to live in Bensalem.
Okay.
I'm in North Carolina now, but I used to live in Bensalem, but I'm from South Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay. So here's my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have specific routines or practices that help you stay grounded amidst the demands of being an artist?
Well, I'm pretty tapped into wellness and eating a certain way and trying to stay in shape, which I really haven't the past 6 weeks. I haven't worked out in probably 6 weeks just because of how busy I am. That's how it gets this time of year. So I'm actually finally calming down going into the new year. But even when I wake up in the morning, I kind of have a little morning routine where I get up, I do some stretching, I do some actually deep diaphragmatic breathing, different things that get me primed for the day. I try to always do that when I wake up. Hydrate. I drink a bunch of water in the morning. This is just life stuff. This isn't even artist or not artist. This is just my daily routine. And then my diet. I eat a animal-based diet. Some people call it like a carnivore diet, but that's like all red meat, which is not what I do. But I eat a lot of grass-fed, grass-finished red meat, fruit, honey, raw dairy, and I'm not 100% consistent with it, but that's like how I try to live my life and eat. And I've been doing that for like 2 years now, and I really enjoy, especially when I can go a full week eating clean. I feel great.
Right.
And that's just kind of my part of my daily daily habits as far as what I do. But like I said earlier, I'm truly a night owl. I try not to stay up too late, but sometimes I can't help myself, especially if I'm in a creative state. And yeah, so.
Hey man, I understand it because I am a late night. A late night owl myself, and I find myself up just creating things, flyers, posters, writing lyrics, or even recording. So for me, it's a lot, and I understand what that takes, especially if you're searching for greatness within yourself.
Absolutely.
So, how do you handle criticism or public reception of your work, and how does it affect your mental health?
I ultimately try to ignore it, and luckily I don't get a ton of criticism. But I have gotten it before. And yeah, I usually try to ignore it. If it's something that I think deserves a response, as far as like my response will get a lot of other people reacting to it as well and bombarding that person, then I'll do that. But I just try to, in general, I try to focus on what I can control, which I think is an important thing in life. And I'm always trying to remind myself of that, or my girlfriend or friends as well. Like, you literally can only focus on what you can control. If you can't control it, then what can you do about it? So
That's right.
always shifting back to what is right in front of you and what you can control, as far as your work habits, your your integrity, just kind of everything that is right in front of you.
Oh man, that's dope. So, are there any pivotal moments in your career that transformed the way you approach challenges?
I wouldn't say any one particular moment, but I think just the progression of working with different clients, having different deadlines, having different experiences with an athlete versus just somebody randomly commissioning a project, or working with a company. Those challenges will really help shape you into knowing what you are or are not capable of, or what you can or cannot handle, especially as an artist. So I wouldn't say there was one particular experience that molded that, but over time that kind of just comes.
Oh man, that's dope. So, what advice would you give young artists about maintaining mental health while building their career as an artist?
I think one of the big things is not losing touch with your enjoyment of creating. And it's tough, right? Because if you want to make a living as an artist, you gotta make a lot of sacrifices, and you need to be able to have an open mind and understand the business side to it if you really want to thrive. Some artists will say like it's 70% business, 30% art. I like to think it's 50-50. You can't really do anything unless you have the talent in the first place, or unless you have something really great that you're creating. But on the flip side, you could be, and I know people like this, or I have a really good artist friend in particular that always comes to mind, who I've helped throughout his career tap into the business side of things. But you could be the most talented artist in the world, but unless you put it in front of people and put it out there, it's not going to
They
matter.
won't know.
It's not going
Right.
to matter. You could think you're doing enough, but you're never doing enough, right? Even me,
Right.
we do a lot of paid advertising. We do a lot of just organic stuff throughout the year on social media. And I'm always like, man, I feel like I'm reaching a lot of people, but it's nothing compared to the potential, So I guess that could tie into my advice to the younger generation as well, to just know that you got to put your work out there if you want to progress, if you want to have a career as an artist. And but on the other side, you don't have to have a career as an artist. You can do it for fun. You don't have to do it to make a living. But if you do want to do it to make a living, just know it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of dedication, and it's going to take a lot of learning, especially on the business side. You know, and it's not for everybody. Like I don't want to say, oh, like you can or can't do this. It's a matter of, do you want to do this? You know, because if you don't want
Right.
to, then it's not going to happen.
That's a fact.
You know, and
That's
at
great
least,
advice, man.
yeah.
So let's talk about Spector Sports a bit. What inspired you to start Spector Sports, and what's the core mission behind your company?
Well, one of the slogans I still use on a lot of stuff you'll see on my website, even carried into my Immortals trading card brand, is art with energy. And it's really cool because that kind of confirmation of that idea actually came from Brian Dawkins. I always had this concept for my work that it has a lot of energy, it has a lot of passion behind it, and that's a lot of people. That's a lot of the feedback I get about my work from fans or customers, is that they feel that energy. And I still remember to this day the first time I got to really meet up with Brian himself in Florida. Actually, I flew a big painting down there to him, and met him in like some parking lot. But we spent like an hour together, just talking about the piece and life in general, football, and he said something without me even asking him to say it. I just told him to speak about the art, however it makes him feel. And he said in those statements, you know, this is art with energy. Like you can feel the energy, and that from that point on, that really actually helped me define and have the confidence to say, okay, yeah, that's what I'm going with, and that's kind of the effect I want people to have from my work, is just to feel the energy and be able to relive that moment that they're excited about or that they'll remember forever. Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. Okay. Can you walk us through the process of creating a signature piece for one of your clients?
Yeah, well, I actually had a conversation today with somebody who is looking to commission a painting. You know, pretty standard as far as like, hey, like somebody will reach out. It happens all the time. Like, hey, can you paint this, or can you create this? Can you do, you know? And a lot of time now, like in general, in the past, I've been a yes man, which opens a lot of doors, but it gets to the point now where I turn down a lot of work because I know it's going to affect the time I need to commit to my own projects and my own stuff that I'm trying to build. So you only have so many hours and days in a year to be able to create art. And, you know, you got to pick and choose what's going to be the most impactful art and the most, or the best pieces to do. So that commission today was an exciting one. And I think, you know, like when it's something exciting to me that I think has a lot of potential, then I'll run with it. But when that happens, I basically price my workout based on the size of it and how many players are in it, because those two factors help me determine how long it's going to take me, how long the concept is going to take me to create. And that helps me price out for somebody, hey, this is what it's going to cost to do that. So that's pretty much how I go about it. Because that is another struggle that a lot of artists have, is how do you price your work? And I still struggle with it sometimes to this day, you know, because sometimes, like a lot of the time, you're pricing something out that people just have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Like, oh, it costs that much. Like, you know, they've never bought art before, but or other people, they'll say yes right away. You're like, oh man, did I not charge enough? You know, but you gotta stick to your gun and stay consistent and build off that.
Oh man, that's cool. All right, so here's my next question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance client demands with your artistic vision?
Yeah, it kind of ties into what I was saying, as far as like it needs to be something that gets me excited, you know.
Yeah.
I obviously do all sports now because that is what I'm most passionate about. You know, years ago, I would take on a lot of work just for the challenge of it, just for the fun of it, to try something different. You know, I would do family portraits, dog portraits, house portraits. You know, whatever people would throw at me. And then eventually, I started to realize, all right, like what is exciting me the most is the sports stuff. And I know there's a demand for it. I know there's a niche for it. I know there, aside from just the original art, like a lot of people just want to have a print or a canvas replica they can hang on the wall. So to be able to provide that product to so many people, I think is pretty cool. And I've always been more of an advocate of, I'd rather have my work in as many homes and establishments as I can versus staying exclusive to like people that only have the money to afford it, you know. And in a way, it's been cool because I've noticed many times over the years I've been doing this that some, like a lot of especially younger people, haven't really ever bought art before, and they say, oh, like your art is the first art that I've ever bought.
Yeah. Then that gets people to know you more.
Exactly, yeah.
Get your work out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
it kind of works as a gateway into the art world, you know, with what I create.
Oh man, that's pretty dope. So, if you had a dream client, who would that be and why?
A dream client,
Mhm.
oh, Brian
That you
Dawkins.
always wanted to paint or work with, who would that be and why?
Well, I already hit that milestone with Brian Dawkins for sure. You know, right now we're trying to do something with Saquon. He's killing it. That'd be really cool to work with him. Michael Jordan would be incredible. I don't think that'll ever happen, but you never know. I'm trying to think, man. There's so many talented athletes out there that I would like to work with, but like there's so many that are on the same level for me that I'd love to work with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I mean, but yeah, Michael Jordan would be incredible. But
Yeah, MJ would definitely be cool to paint. Have you done any murals?
I have, yes. I don't do a lot of murals, but I've done a couple. I've done both indoor, where I'll create the art and then it'll actually get blown up on a like a vinyl canvas material, which is how a
Hmm.
lot of murals are done now these days, where the material is going to be very protective against the elements, sunlight, stuff like that. So I've done a lot of projects where it'll be done smaller and then blown up on you know, like I said, the canvas vinyl, and it looks incredible. But I did do one last year that was the first time I worked on an exterior brick wall at a children's like community center down in Philadelphia. It was a whole thing with ESPN, and basically the parents that run it, their daughter passed away from a rare brain cancer, and they started a foundation to raise funds to increase research behind it and help families whose kids get diagnosed with the same rare brain cancer. So the mural I created on this exterior brick wall is of their daughter. It's very colorful. It's very kid centric, kid friendly, and it was a really unique one that I did all by hand last
Oh
year.
man, that's awesome. Can you share a moment or a project that you consider a significant milestone for your company?
Yeah, I've already mentioned it a couple times now, but this one
Brian
behind me right
Dawkins.
here, the long one behind me,
Okay.
on the road to victory, was a huge one. That really that one went viral, as you might call it, on Twitter. Enough people retweeted it; it just blew up very
Can you
quickly.
show it to the people up close so they can see it a little better? Do you
Yeah,
mind?
I have a small version to my left, which is
Okay.
perfect for a screen. So this is a very small version of it, but
Hold
this
on.
is,
Let me zoom in for the people.
yep. So we'll start on this end, but this is the full history of the Eagles from the 1940s all the way up into the 2018 win. So you got Jason Kelsey there, Brandon Graham, Nick Foles, 41 players and coaches. And again, this is a very small replica of a 15-foot canvas that I created.
That's awesome.
It was a commission job. So somebody actually paid for my time to create the whole thing. And that in general was just an incredible client, incredible project, and really helped put me on the map.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's definitely dope. That's definitely dope. I think it's cool that your projects flourish the way they do. You're a great artist, and everything that I've seen so far, I'm impressed with. So, are there any other cities besides Philadelphia that you've done some art? And if so, talk to the people about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you go to my website, spectorsportsart.com, you can kind of see the whole portfolio of work that I've done over the years. I try to expand outside the Philly market and do non-Philly stuff. So you can find that on my website. But, man, especially the past 2 to 3 years, it's just been Philly year-round. It's just Philly sports is just nonstop.
That's great.
And all the teams have been so good, especially the Eagles. So they keep me busy.
That's cool.
Yep.
So where do you see Spector Sports in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'd like to continue to expand to, in general, just having a bigger offering of pieces for fans, not just Philly, other teams, art that people are proud to hang on their wall, and becoming that much bigger of a brand and household name with the art that I provide. And then also the trading card brand that I have created called Immortals. I really see a even higher ceiling to, actually, I don't see a ceiling to it, the Immortals trading cards, because there's so many directions I can go with that. And I see that growing a lot in the next couple of years. To be able to expand and bring other artists on as well, to give them opportunities to be able to create a card with an athlete. So, yeah.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So has social media been more of like a help or a hindrance on your mental well-being?
Definitely. I mean, I think more positive than negative. Just because that was one of the first places I started when I started doing my art. Make an Instagram, eventually make a Facebook business page. I mean, we get a ton of business through both channels, and without those, it would be more difficult. I try to stay away from the nonsense on there, though, for sure. The negativity, like you said, and all that. But sometimes you definitely got to catch yourself to make sure I'm not spending too much time on there or overdoing it.
You get caught up in that social media world, man.
Yeah,
and it'll take you off your creativity.
Yeah, and especially happens so often to all of us, but focusing on you and what's in front of you, and not what other people are working on and succeeding at, and the wins that other people are having. Trying not to say, why isn't that me? So I've always said that I compete with myself. I don't compete against anybody else, whether it's for the trading cards, the art. And I've built a lot of friendships with other artists, especially in the Philly area, because I'm all about supporting my fellow artists in my art community. And every now and then you find these artists that, like, you can just tell, like, they have no desire to want to be a part of that, or they think that other artists are taking away from their opportunities or whatever the case is. But, like, the reality is there is infinite amounts of money out there for all of us, so to think that you are the only one that can win is naive.
Y'all hear him? Everybody can eat.
Everybody you can make a great living as an artist in many different ways. I mean, the world is yours, as they say, but it really is. But you got to put in the work. Like anything else, you got to put in the work.
Absolutely.
And you got to enjoy it. Like you got to enjoy it more than you don't, right? So I've been able to grow what I've done, but still enjoy the creativity side of it, even though it gets stressful at times.
Oh, that's dope. So Jordan, tell us about any initiatives or partnerships you're proud of.
Well, we have multiple commitments, especially with the trading card projects, where a portion of the project goes, portion of the revenue from the project goes to a foundation. So I should do a tally, a full year recap, but we've probably raised $20,000 to $30,000 for different foundations just this past year through the different card projects I've done. As far as like art partnerships go, I do a lot of projects with Fanatics, who's kind of the biggest name and brand and company,
the biggest, yes,
in the sports world. So to be able to work with them and have my name intertwined with their brand is pretty cool. Yeah, so those two things are things that I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, especially dealing with Fanatics, that's something that can become a lifetime career.
Oh yeah.
So that's dope within itself, man. And I definitely congratulate you on all the success with that. 2 more questions.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. How does your art connect with the athletes and sports culture you celebrate? Break it down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I already said earlier, the energy that I try to bring out from a specific player or moment is very important to me, and that ties directly back, especially to the athlete, of a moment that they created. You know, so it's one of the best rewards when I do a project and I'm able to connect with that individual who made it happen in the first place and know that they appreciate what I created, or in some cases want to own what I created. So that's a special feeling for any artist.
Yeah, that's dope. Last and final question. And this is something that I ask all my guests that come on when they come on. This is something that I ask them to make them think, because this answer is never the same. So if it's one thing life has taught you, what is that and why?
I think it's something I alluded to earlier, which is to focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control.
Focus on what you can control. Hey, man, listen, I want to thank you for coming on, man. You took the time to share with us on the pot. And listen, when you got a big painting or another event that you're throwing, let me know. We can bring you on Stirring the Pot before the event, and you can show it, a bit, and we could do some things, or even partner up, if you will, on some things. I might need to hit you up to get a little banner behind me.
Let me know, man. I got
yeah,
what you need.
Yeah. I definitely need some more art coming, some things coming for the newer season in 2025. Grammy nominated Fabian James, which is my partner. We just partnered up on some things. We have our own radio station now. So we're doing some things. So I'm definitely going to need some artwork. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need some artwork.
You know where to find me.
Absolutely. So shout out your socials for the people. Let them know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So Instagram, Twitter at Spector_art, Facebook at Jordan Spector Art. My website is spectorsportsart.com. You can go on there and check out all the work that I've done over the years. We have prints, canvases available. You can always reach out as well if you want to commission your very own painting. Hit me up.
Hey, listen. Thank you for coming, Jordan. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. And don't be a stranger, man. Listen, don't cut out, but turn your camera off, mute your mic, and I'm going to end it out with the folks and just hold on the line, all right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Folks, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in as always. And listen, 2025 is about to be upon us. It's about to be some major things coming from your boy. And listen, I want to thank everybody all across the globe that's been watching. I'm almost at 80,000. I'm close to 80,000 views across all social medias. Like, share, subscribe. And if you can, send me some stars. What's $1? You know what I'm saying? A little dollar ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for whatever you send. But if you can send, send me some stars. Let me know that you rock with me. I want to thank everybody thank y'all for watching the show. I truly appreciate it. Russia, New Zealand, England, India, Bangladesh. I'm sorry, I'm a little tongue twisted out here. Let me take a sip of water so I can get it out all the way. All right, there we go. Yeah, Italy. I just found out I got some folks in Italy watching. Thank you. So, for all of those that have been tuning in, Russia as well, Puerto Rico, thank you. Africa, I love you. Thank you. So, listen, stay tuned for the things that we have coming. It will be an amazing feat. And I want to thank you all. So, it's your boy, Tigmatic, signing off. Peace.
Everybody go attack me with the pot with Tigmatic.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on
and you are tuned into the Pot Podcast.
With the Pot Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.